Hey guys, and welcome to today's episode of I Could Totally Get On. Ben! There's no time! It's me! You! From the future! Something goes terribly wrong with episode 18! Oh, what? Is it me? No! You're fine! James is fine! It's your kids, Ben! Great Scott!
That's right, today's episode is about Back to the Future.
Today's episode was a special request from one of our viewers, so we're gonna make it happen. That's right, we do what we say. We're not liars.
Yeah, this episode covers a few firsts for us. It's our first request, and it's also our first movie. Synopsis!
Yay!
It's a science fiction movie series from the 80s, set around the life of a young Marty McFly, who's hanging out with a crazy professor and discovering the laws of time, travel, and physics.
That's crazy, James!
Not as crazy as Doc, the mad scientist who sticks a time machine in a DeLorean. And the plot of the first movie is basically a combination of a sci-fi story stuck against a coming-of-age story. Ben, why don't you tell us more about Marty McFly?
Well, James, Marty McFly is kind of the good old American homeboy. Not like me, because I'm Jewish. But the point is that Marty hates the word chicken. He doesn't like being called a chicken, doesn't like eating chicken, doesn't like bird watching, which comes into the movie later on. And this story shows him growing up.
And then you've got Doc, the crazy professor who has been cast out from the town because people think he's absolutely insane because of his ideas about time travel and time machines and DeLoreans and flux capacitors.
I kind of look like Crispin Glover.
Crispin Glover? Tell our viewers at home who that is, Ben.
The dad!
That's right, Marty's family feature in the movie as well. And there's a good comparison of what happens with the time meddling to the way they are at the start of the film and the way they are at the end of the film. And there's obviously a lot of hilarity ensues when Marty's mum in the past.
So this is our first movie, and it's actually a trilogy. It spans a lot of information and a lot of stuff. Really, the best way to get into it that we would recommend is...
watch the first movie.
There you go. Our job is done, and we're only halfway through the episode. So that's how you can get into it, James. But why do you love Back to the Future? Why are we talking about it?
Well, Ben, there's a couple of reasons I want people to get into it so much. One of them is that all the time travel and sci-fi movies right now, as good as they are, you know, like Star Trek and things like that, they're all really, really serious. And the Back to the Future movies are time travel, physics-based films that are just really, really fun.
And it's worth knowing that the fact that physics actually uses this movie as an example of what's kind of like a time loop. The idea that Marty plays Johnny Be Good, that Chuck Berry hears, that eventually he writes, that eventually Marty learns to go back to play it again, it's a solid loop. The reason why we chose this as our first movie, and just as a movie in general that we think you could get into, is that it's a big trilogy. There's a lot of stuff in there. Something about this movie just resonates with how silly and fun it can be. And the biggest reason why you should totally get into this movie is Christopher Lloyd and Michael J. Fox in a movie together being hilarious. Thank you all for watching. I could totally get into that. Back to the Future edition with me, Ben.
And me, James.
Be sure to comment on the things below if you have stuff that you think we could get into. As evidenced by this, we will do it. We are not liars.
Use the subscribe and share buttons down in the doobly-doo to dissipate this among your various social networks.
Dissipate.
Speaking of social networks, be sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. That way you'll be the first to find out about new episodes when they're coming out.
Shazam! Credits! Hey everybody, and welcome to I Could Totally Get Into That, episode 18. Fireflies come back!
Ben!
Yes,
have you
Future
checked
James.
on the kids recently?
Oh no. I gotta go back.
Go on past Ben, Ben!
Back to the past!
Na na na